Laura.
I'm baking cinnamon rolls.
Ooh, cinnamon rolls. Delicious, sweet goodness. I want me some of them cinnamon rolls. Hey, Coach Laura, what made you decide to bake today?
I got bored, so I decided to try my hand at baking.
Hey, boys and girls, how many of you feeling like that? You should try something new. Baking is a cool thing to do. This was super easy. Cinnamon rolls, open the packet, pop them in the oven, voila! Nice goodness and sweetness right there. Alright, so tune in later and join us. Coach Ryan is going to be bringing you breaststroke. Who loves breaststroke? Once upon a time, Coach Laura, who doesn't remember this very well, was an awesome breaststroker when she was a 10 and under. Suddenly, those breaststroke feet kind of went away, and she became a backstroker. Hope you enjoyed the backstroke from Coach Austin as well. All right, so Coach Laura, what are you baking tomorrow?
I don't know, you have to come back and find out.
Well, I'm putting in a special request. I would like brownies because I'm going to have to make sure I do my mile run today to work off some of these delicious cinnamon buns. All right, Coach Laura, till later. Go, go!
Hi, Chattanooga School. Coach Ryan here. Make sure to check out all of the videos of Gold Live on our YouTube page. There's lots of information in each of those videos from all our coaches. So make sure that you use those videos once we hop back in the water to use as a reference point to give you more ideas and more information to improve your swimming for the future. Now, today we're going to end up talking about a stroke that's a little bit on the polarizing side. It tends to be, some of you, it's a little bit easier, and for some of you, a little bit more of a challenge. And we're going to end up talking about breaststroke. Now, hopefully, with a little bit of a discussion on breaststroke, its history, and how to catch a little bit better on the stroke itself, you'll see some improvements in your strokes once we hop back in the water. Now, first, a little bit of history on breaststroke. I tend to be a little bit more on the history-based side. I ended up majoring in history in college, so that's kind of where I end up going to end up learning a lot more of the future of where we could go in the sport is to look back at our history. So, my swimmers have probably heard this story many times, and you're gonna end up hearing it today. So, back in the 1908 games, there were only 3 Olympic strokes that were actually swum: freestyle, backstroke, and breaststroke. Those are the 3 strokes that were swum at the Olympic Games. Now, in 1934, there was an individual, coach at the University of Iowa, Coach David Armbruster, who ended up kind of tinkering with breaststroke itself and started actually adding in butterfly arms, something that you'll end up seeing in a video very shortly. So, butterfly actually had a very kind of long kind of history and a long kind of journey to the stroke it is today. So in 1954, the stroke was actually approved by FINA as an official stroke. It was added in the 1956 games, butterfly was, that is, and the 200 butterfly was actually the event that was added. Now, why am I mentioning butterfly when I'm here to talk about breaststroke? Now, the 2 strokes are actually very closely related. Breaststroke gave us butterfly. In many regards, there are still lots of commonalities between the 2 strokes. Now, the first kind of commonality is both strokes are swum up the surface, like freestyle and backstroke. Now, I know that sounds kind of a little bit kind of silly, but for some reason, some people still think that breaststroke only has your head popping out of the water. Now, most of the stroke of breaststroke itself, the arms and the legs are going to be riding right underneath the surface. That is true, but not just the way that we think. So let's take a quick glance at a video from the 1936 Olympic Games in Berlin, Germany. And I want you to watch for individuals having their heads barely kind of pop out of the water, and you actually start to see breaststroke kind of starting to change and give us butterflies. So check out this video. So this is the men's 200 breaststroke at the 1936 Berlin Games. As we see, this is kind of the common breaststroke that some people still think is happening for the stroke itself. If we actually look up here, people are actually bringing their arms over the surface of the water with actually breaststroke kick. So this is in 1936. Let's go to modern breaststroke now. In 2016, this is Adam Peaty at the 2016 Games swimming the 100 breaststroke. If we actually watch, we can see everybody's popping up, riding at the surface of the water, and those hands are sitting right underneath the surface, and the heads are definitely coming much higher out of the water. Now, we're going to move on to the second piece of both these strokes having a very kind of common piece. Now, that would actually be one of the biggest kind of things that they have in common is your hips. And where your hips sit in the water is very important. Now, in butterfly, if any of you have ever swum butterfly and felt that sinking feeling where your arms are just kind of barely making it out of the water and you don't, your head is barely popping out of the water, probably what happened is you either lost your kick, and if you lost your kick, your hips are dropping, and then you're starting to work really, really hard. So that's butterfly. Guess what happens in breaststroke? If your hips start to sink, you kind of end up in the same kind of mode. Your hips are really low, you start breathing, and it gets harder and harder and harder. Now, if we actually go back to the 1936 Games, I know we're going to go back in time, and we compare it to the modern breaststroke, you watch for the hips. See where the hips are in 1936, where the hips are in 2016. So let's go back to that 1936 video, and I want you to watch the hip placement for all the gentlemen in this swim. If you actually look, all their hips dragging right at the surface of the water. And we go back to the Olympics. We watch these gentlemen swimming the 100 breaststroke. All of their hips ride right at the surface as well. Just barely touching that surface, almost popping out. And you can see a very, very common trait. Look at these hips sitting right near the surface of the water. Now, if we finish this race, this is from the 2016 Games in Rio. We're going to actually watch Adam Peaty from Great Britain break the world record. So, just a quick recap. So, the first commonality that we had talked about is that the stroke is actually swum at the surface of the water, not below the surface. The second commonality that butterfly and breaststroke have is high hip position. So, make sure that you remember those two kind of things when you hop back in the water. High hips and swimming at the surface. Now, we're going to start to talk about the actual catch and the stroke, the arms of breaststroke itself. Now, this is a little bit kind of tricky, but I think all of us can actually figure this out. Now, important thing to remember is that from your fingertips all the way down to your elbow, when you swim breaststroke, it's one line. It is not a broken line. So, as you swim breaststroke, as you take a stroke with those arms, from your fingertips to your elbow, straight line. So we're going to actually start with our hands straight out in front. We're going to end up pressing out. We're going to end up dipping those hands down, sweeping in, and moving forward. Now, we'll start out really slow again. So you're going to actually start with your thumbs pointed down. Every single stroke, you're going to end up starting with those thumbs pointed down, little fingers almost kind of at the surface of the water. You're going to end up pressing those hands out. You're going to feel lots of pressure on the palm of your hand and on your forearm. You're going to press out, and those fingertips are going to press out not to here, and definitely not just really small. We're going to end up letting those fingertips press just right outside our elbow line. Now, this is kind of the trickier part, trying to figure out where the elbow line is, but all you're going to really have to do is start with your hands out and actually just kind of watch your hands press out. And as soon as those elbows, you're outside those elbows, which is right about here, if we actually kind of go up, it's a small kind of Y, not a T. So this is a small Y. You're gonna start here, you're gonna press out, and then you're gonna end up tipping those hands. You're gonna end up turning those hands, tip them to point down, squeeze those elbows in, touch those hands together, shrug those shoulders, bring them forward. So the hand presses out, it points down, sweeps in, and then moves forward. So again, watch the one point that I really want you to get from your fingertips to your elbow, straight line. So press out, tip down, and all it is that hand is just gonna rotate with that forearm. It's gonna point down, scoop in, move forward. Now, it's easy to kind of demo this, and we're gonna actually try to actually implement this on dry land without water. Now, this is something called paper sculling, and it's actually done with all strokes. It's a little bit fun, and it's something you can do at home, and it's very, very kind of easy, maybe. So, standard piece of paper. Nothing special about it, no tape, no glue. So, what I want you to do is take your hand, put the paper in the center of your hand, palm up, you're gonna press it straight forward. Now, on this, okay, we're gonna do a breaststroke stroke. So this piece of paper is gonna end up having to turn with my thumb pointed down somehow. And all I'm gonna do is move a little bit quick. If I have air pushing on the paper, it's gonna stay in my hand, right? So we're gonna start with the hand straight out. We're gonna press out, catch, boom. Out, catch, straight forward. Now, that's the single. Should we try the double? I don't really have a whole lot of faith that I'm gonna be able to do the double. I'm gonna try. So, got two pieces of paper. Here we go. Arms stretched out. We're gonna end up tipping those thumbs down. We're gonna press out. We're gonna catch. Hopefully this stays on my hands. Here we go. Press out, elbows up. Oh no, I didn't move my hand fast enough. So let's try it one more time. So we're gonna start with those palms up. Stretch out, here we go. Press out, up, boom. There we go, out, up, forward, out, up, forward, out, up. Oh, bummer. Now, you can end up trying this at home. It's pretty fun. It's a little bit kind of silliness, but it is something that you can do to end up improving your breaststroke. So again, press those hands out, keep those elbows up, squeeze together, drive forward. Now, hopefully you learned something just a little bit more about breaststroke itself. Some things to take away are swim at the surface. 2, make sure we keep our hips nice and high, and that we're gonna end up pressing those hands out, leaving those elbows kind of pointed up, catch, squeeze together, drive forward. Those are gonna be the big aspects that we kind of talked about today, and for you to remember as we kind of move forward. So, make sure to check out all our videos again, and Coach Luke, Coach Corey are gonna be here with some dryland. Take care.
Welcome everybody. Coach Laura and I, Coach Hunter, are going to be working with you on some abs and legs today. Let's get ready for some fun. Alright, let's get started with some dynamic stretching. So, dynamic stretching is super important as it helps prevent injuries during the workout, but it also helps get your heart rate up. So, we're going to go through this 2 times, 8 repetitions of each, unless otherwise noted. So, we're going to do lunge with a twist, knee to chest, Frankensteins, high knees for 20 seconds, butt kicks for 20 seconds, arm circles forward for 10, arm circles backward for 10, and inchworms. Alright, let's get ready for that stretching. So, we're going to start off with lunge with a twist. Make sure on these we go down where our knee almost touches the ground, and when we twist all the way from left to right, really stretching our abs.
First impression, you OPN, we should be closer than friends. If you OP.
Alright, now we're gonna go into knee to chest. So on these knee to chest, make sure we pull our knee up super hard up towards our abs, and that's gonna help stretch the back of our hamstrings.
Monarch butterflies, you should open up. I'm trying to put your heart together, found it broken up. Going up in smoke, smoking up.
Alright, on the freaking side, make sure we're doing opposite leg, opposite arm, really throwing our hand towards our leg hard and fast.
Come to visit me, she said that she the loneliest, and it's hard to open up. Open you up like a Pokeball.
Alright, high knees for 20 seconds. Ready, go.
Let your emotion waterfall on me. Open up. Open up. Need to deep breathe.
Right into butt kicks for 20 seconds. Go.
Open up. Need to breathe. Our conversation got me contemplation over our situation. Open up. You OPN. Bitch, you won't BBM.
Arm circles forward for 10 seconds. Make sure your arms are nice and big. After that, we're gonna go into 10 seconds of arm circles backwards. Ready, go.
Open up, open up. Shut it down like a Macintosh. Open up, open up.
Last thing in the progression is inchworms. Make sure we go all the way out where our backs are flat. No push up, and make sure we come back in and stand all the way up. Do that 8 times. Alright, good job. So, now this is the part of the video where you need to pause the video and do the same thing you just did all over again once more. Once you do that, come back and we'll get started with the workout. Alright, so we're going to start with our ab workout now. We're going to go 10 minutes where it's 2 times 3 of the set, 40 on, 20 off. Flutter kick with crunch, V-ups, mountain climber with twist, and then Russian twist. After that, we're going to do a 2-minute plank hold. Alright, we're going to get started with our flutter kick with crunch for 40 seconds. Ready, go. Alright, make sure on our crunches, we're keeping our legs low and our toes pointed. If you want to make it harder, you can go into streamline and crunch up. Just make sure that we're crunching and flutter kicking at the same time the whole time. And stop. Good job. If you need to, grab some water, get ready to get back at it. Let's keep pushing, guys. Three, 2, 1. Ready, go? Alright, on our V-ups, make sure our legs and our hands are coming up at the same time. Try to get up as high as possible and keep your legs as straight as possible. And stop. Good job. Right, we're going to go to our mountain climber twist. On these, it's a little different than mountain climbers. Instead of going from knee to the same side elbow. We're going to go knee to the opposite side elbow. Make sure we're really twisting. This is how we're going to work our abs. Try to get your legs up as far as you can and as close to your elbow as possible. And stop. Good job. All right, now we're on our Russian twist. Ready, go. So on our Russian twist, make sure your feet don't touch the ground at any point. And when we're twisting, we go all the way from ground to ground. We're not moving our shoulders, we're moving our whole body. If you have a water bottle near you, I would suggest using that and tapping the ground with it. And stop. All right, good job. So this is the point of the video where you pause the video. This is now means you have to go back and do that same thing over one more time. So that's another 4 minutes and those 4 exercises once more. After you come back, we're going to start our plank hold. All right, our plank hold in 3, 2, 1. Ready, up. All right, we're going to go on our forearm for 1 minute and then right into our hand plank for 1 minute. It's going to be a total of 2 minutes. Do not drop on the switching part. It's going to be super hard. If you're shaking, that means you're doing it right. Make sure you keep your butt low and it's in line with your back, and also make sure your butt doesn't sag and go below your back. Ready, up. All right, good. Don't drop that knee. All right, last minute. Hold it. Squeeze your booty tight. Squeeze your abs. You can do it. Drop. Good. That was amazing. Good job, guys. All right. Now we're going to go into stretching for this 30 seconds rest. We're going to stretch a tricep stretch. We're going to take our left arm and put it back on our shoulder blade and pull back with the right arm. We're going to hold that for 10 seconds. And then we're going to do the same thing on our right arm. Pull back and hold that for 10 seconds. After that, we are going to go into a crossbody stretch. Take your left arm, cross it over your body. Take your right arm and pull the shoulder towards the right side. That's how we're going to get a good shoulder stretch. Now do the opposite with your right arm. All right, now is our leg series. So we're going to go 10 minutes where it's 2 times through of all of this, 40 on, 20 off, same as the abs. But it's going to be squats for 1, then lunges, then squat jumps, then lunge jumps, then a squat hold for 40 seconds. And then you're going to do that twice through. Alright, squats, ready, go. So on these squats, make sure we're going down to 90 degrees or a little bit past, and we're keeping our back up. Now, if you're struggling to keep your back up, you can always put your hands up in a diamond form and look through the hole, and that is going to help to keep your back up and straight. And stop. All right, get ready for those lunges. Right, ready, go. On the lunges, make sure we're going down to where our knee almost touches the ground or barely taps the ground. Try to keep your legs at a 90-degree angle when they come down, and make sure your legs are not directly in front of each other but a little under your shoulders, and that your knees are not bending outward from you. And stop. Alright, good job. Let's get ready for those squat jumps. This is going to be a lot harder than the squats. Don't forget to drink water, guys. And squat jumps, ready to go. Alright, on these squat jumps, try not to stop at the top and chill and look around. Make sure you're going through it one after another. This is going to be super hard as this goes, but you guys got it. Come on, keep it going. And stop. Good job. Now let's get ready for those lunge jumps. The lunge jumps in 3, 2, 1. Alright, on our lunge jumps, make sure they're the same as our lunges, but we're not stopping to wait at the top again. Make sure it's one after another. Make sure we go down and almost touch the knee ground or tap the knee. And stop. Good job. Alright, let's get ready for our squat hold. Ready, go. Alright, on our squat hold, make sure that we are holding our legs at a 90-degree angle and we're not resting on our calves like a catcher does in baseball. Make sure it's up at a 90-degree angle. Keep your elbows off your knees and keep your back up. And stop. Alright, good job. So, this is the point of the video where you pause the video and you go back and redo those exercises one more time each. So that's another 5 minutes of exercising. Once you do that, come back. That is the end of your hard exercise. Now we're going to go into some stretches. On our stretches, we're going to do cobra pose stretch for 20, cat-cow stretch for 20, standing hamstring stretch for 20, calf stretches 10 seconds on each side, and a hip flexor stretch 10 seconds on each side. Alright, we're going to do the cobra stretch. Ready, go. So, on this cobra stretch, make sure we're really pushing up hard so that we can feel it in our abs. Our legs are straight behind us. right, now we're going to go into our cat-cow stretch. This is going to help stretch the abs and your back. You're going to arch up like a cat and then arch down like a cow, and keep doing that for 20 seconds. Now let's stand up and get ready for our standing hamstring stretch. So we're gonna bend over at the waist and take our arms and pull our legs in towards our body. That's how we're gonna stretch our hamstrings. All right, now let's find a wall. Put your foot up against the wall and lean into it. That's how we're gonna stretch our calves. If you ever get a muscle cramp at practice or a calf cramp, this is how you're gonna stretch it out. Get out, put your foot up on the wall, and this is how you stretch it out. All right, last thing of the day, we're going to do our hip flexor stretch. So take your right leg, put it up on your left knee, and lean into it. Try to get your chest as close to your knee as possible. That's how we're gonna get our hips stretched out after all of those squats. After you do that for 10 seconds, switch to the opposite side. Good job today, guys. That was a great workout. Thank you for coming and looking at the dry lands that we have for Gold Live. Thanks to Coach Laura for coming and helping us film this. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Go Gold!
Oh man, that mile run was really good. I normally fly, but because I gotta get my legs working, especially burning off that fluff there for those cinnamon buns, and Coach Laura needed to run after that hard workout she did with Coach Hunter. They did a fantastic dry land. I hope you caught it. Lower body and abs. Tune in next time they're going to be doing their cardio workout as well. They do a fantastic job. Coach Laura, how are those legs feeling?
Very, very hard and very tight.
And sore? Okay, well, that's why we're going to stretch out, and we'll tune in tomorrow for Coach Luke in his kitchen. He's going to be doing nutrition and telling you about what you should eat, why you should eat it, and when you should eat it as an athlete to help keep you nourished, pumped up, ready to be able to swim fast and to be able to maintain these dry land workouts, which are tough, and this mile run challenge. Hope you're logging those miles. I certainly am. I didn't run that 1.5 miles today for nothing. All right, till tomorrow. Ready? Go, go!